Now, here's the first thing that for us to be all there. The first thing that you and I have to do in our life to be all there is this: remove all distractions. Matthew 4:10 says this: worship the Lord your God and serve him only. You have to choose to remove the distractions. It's about being there is a choice. Martha's problem wasn't that she was insincere. She was sincere about wanting to serve. In fact, she got that. She understood what it took to meet people's needs. So much so that in John 12, she was the one responsible for the feast for the 12, for the Last Supper. And her brother and her sister. That's 15 people. And she didn't either, at that dinner, she didn't utter any complaints. She had gotten God's peace in her heart because she had learned to sit at the feet of Christ. She'd learned herself this lesson, that to be all there in her relationship with Christ and others was more important than the task that she thought she had to accomplish. Now, if you're going to have to choose to be all there in relationships, you're going to have to deal with the distractions that are going to come up. You're going to have to choose to remove all the distractions. Martha was so distracted that she was missing out on this relationship just because she was too busy. How do we do that? You know, some of us never do small group in the middle of the week. Some of us don't do a lot of stuff because we're too busy. Let me tell you something. When you're in bed and you're breathing your last breath, you're not going to be saying to me, wanting me to pray with you, I just want one more opportunity to accomplish one more thing. You need to choose to reduce the stress in your life and to grow and deepen the closest relationships to you. You have to cut some stuff out of your schedule and replace it with what really matters. Now hear this. You got to hear this. At what point in time are you going to get it? I want to provide this for my family, so I'm going to work 3 jobs. Do you understand there's stuff that you're never going to get back? You share a frailty of mine. I have a blessing and a curse, the fact that my office is in my home. I mentioned before I am a workaholic. I am. I'm a recovering workaholic. I do take a Sabbath now, which means I'm in that 12-step program. You know? But I tunnel in. I'm going to take no prisoners. I don't count the cost. Let's go storm the hillside and take the hill. I don't look at the casualties until later. It's my nature. It was that in business before I was a dad. Do you know how many times in my life that I had a little person run into my office and I looked at them as an interruption, waving a piece of paper, wanting to brag about something that they've done? For me to say, I'm busy, I'm in the middle of writing a letter, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, I'll get to you. Those moments are gone, I'm never getting them back. You have to choose to be there. You have to choose to say, hey, these real relationships that are incredibly important to me are not more important than this distraction. You're looking at the wrong things of being the distraction. Doing life is the distraction. The relationships are what matters. I'll give you an example. A guy I used to work for, phenomenal business guy. He was on a call one day. Our offices were in his home. A little separate wing, big, huge house. And he had a little son who was dealing with some health issues. And he was on this business call. Now understand, he was on a business call to a president of a major corporation. And the little dude came into the office. He goes, I gotta go now. I have something incredibly important that's just came in on my desk. Let me get back to you this afternoon. Goodbye. Click. Wow. That's a dad. That's a dad. I want to be more like that. We have to look at managing the distractions by identifying what is a distraction. Now, the best place to start with this is your focus, when you're losing your focus on your personal relationship with Christ. How much attention do you give him daily? Ooh. Are you telling Jesus talk to the hand? By the way, if you're doing it to your kids, are you doing it to Christ? This goes back to that, are you sitting in your pickup truck or your car at Wawa doing your 10 minutes with the flip down devotional? What do you do when God walks into your life and says, excuse me, I want to talk to you about something? Goes back to Matthew 10. Worship the Lord your God and serve him only. Which came first, worship or service? Our service can be expression of worship when our focus is on him and not on ourselves. But how do you do that? Jesus says this in Matthew 6:6. Here's what I want you to do. Find a quiet, secluded place so you won't be tempted at role-playing before me. Just as there simply and honestly as you can manage. The focus will shift from you to God, and you'll begin to sense his grace. This goes in the whole grace space. When you start sensing this grace space, that you have to then take this next step. I've dealt with the distraction. Now I have to choose to embrace the moment. What Mary did that Martha was missing. Wouldn't it be tragic to have the Son of God himself sitting in your home and you miss the moment? How do you embrace the moment? You do what Mary did. She just sat down at Jesus' feet and listened to what he was saying. How cool would that be? You got to catch yourself. And this is what I've been doing, going back to my own personal stuff with my own kids. I have to catch myself. Some of the things that I've done is that if I had guys over to talk about ministry, during the dinner table, we ain't talking about ministry when we're doing family time. If you're coming over for NCIS night or Top Gear night with my kids, we ain't talking about changing the world for Jesus. We're talking about the Maserati with the V12 in it, because that's what the kids want to talk about. You follow what I'm saying? You have to choose to embrace the moment. You only get so many bullets in your gun. You only get so many opportunities with friends. You only get so many opportunities with those who you say you deeply love. Are you taking every opportunity to pursue it as you possibly can? The problem is that for most of us, we're barreling down the road at 100 miles an hour, and it's just like this blur. When God really wants you to get down to about 45 so you can take the view. You know? We got to be totally engaged. We have to get to this point of our spiritual experience where we just say, hey, this matters to me. And here's what's going to happen. This is cool. We've defined what a distraction is. We've chosen, this is all about choosing. We have chosen to embrace the moment. And then all of a sudden, for the very first time in many of your lives, you're going to be able to say, wow, I need to invest into that relationship. You're going to see the needs of others. There's a stage there. It's a process that you have to choose to do.